So welcome back, guys, to another episode of Let the Games Begin with Preston Sapp and myself. On today's episode, it's going to be all Cowboys talk. Cowboys. So if you are not a Cowboys fan, go ahead and just sit back and relax because we're going to tell you all about Cowboys. So how are you today, Mr. Preston Sapp?
Man, I'm doing well, man. Alive, and man, just another day above the ground, man. So,
hey, I'll take that every day of the week. I'll tell you right now. So we'll get right into it. So right now, Cowboy news as of today, it's Wednesday, April 28th. And from what I'm hearing on the news right now, the biggest topic that I found that's up and going is Dak Prescott's rehab. Now they're saying his rehab is going pretty well. What do you know about that, if anything?
well, I'm glad to see that his ankle is facing the right way because, it looked kind of nasty. Man, let me tell you something, man. When I saw that play, I was sitting up there. I was watching it upstairs because one of the things I do is that I can sit up there and play Xbox and watch a Cowboys game at the same time.
I do that too. I think I'll be honest with you.
Man. So, Josie's downstairs. She's watching the game downstairs. And plus, I cannot watch the game with her anyway because I like to watch the game in silence. And so my feed is a few seconds ahead of hers. And then when that accident happened, I yelled at, "Oh, no!" And she's like, "What happened?" I was like, "Turn the TV off. Don't look."
Yeah. That happened here too. I think I told the wife, I was like, "Oh!" She's like, "What happened?" I go, "I don't think you want to see." But what happens is when you tell someone, "I don't think you want to see."
They want to see.
They want to see. And then she goes, "Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Why did you show me that?" I was like, "Girl, I told you." But so far, what I'm hearing, right now, my background is I was living in Dallas. That's why me and you are born and raised in Hereford, Texas. I moved to San Antonio, then moved to Dallas. And I've been in Dallas for a long time, but recently moved to Austin. Actually, I moved to Houston, then to Austin. So I'm a Texas boy. And yourself, why are you a Texas or Dallas Cowboy fan?
Man, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan because my uncle Lamar told me that I should be. At the time, I was a fan of the then Washington Redskins, which is now the Washington football team.
Okay.
And he was like, "Bub, what you doing?" "I'm watching my favorite team, the Washington Redskins." "We don't do that here. You're a Cowboys fan."
No, we don't.
And so then I became a Cowboys fan. But what literally made me become a Cowboys fan is like right after that, remember back in the day, if you didn't have a starter jacket, you were nobody.
You were a punk.
Yep, he said up there.
I was one of those. I never had one.
Aw, get yourself a cool uncle like mine and he'll get you one with your name etched in it.
Perfect.
And so, man, that's what had me loving the Cowboys ever since, and I haven't looked back. Now, I'm a realist Cowboys fan. I'm like all these other Cowboys fans where they do something. "Oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl." No, we're not.
Nah, well, let's chill. Let's win a playoff game first. And
let's get to the playoffs.
Let's start there, guys. Let's start there. And I think, how do you feel about look, I moved to Houston, so a big topic in Houston is the Houston Texans. I didn't realize if you were a Cowboys fan in Houston, you're looking for some problems. So how do you feel about the Houston Texans? They're another Texas team.
Man, they got a lame duck coach, man. I feel sorry for that man, man. They got him, man. I'm just glad he's taking his money, because, they're asking him questions about Deshaun Watson. Man, he don't know anything about that, man. He just looked like he's just trying to make it through the interview. And now, man, I'm like, poor David Culley. They signed Tyrod Taylor, but they still don't have anyone to throw to. And mind you this, man, that Deshaun Watson led the league in pass yards, and they only won 4 games.
Dude. Look, let's kind of backtrack a little bit because I said this was going to be all Dallas Cowboy. Let me take it back. Let's do it all Texas team because Deshaun Watson was a big part of the news recently. So tell me what you know, and I'll give you my feedback as I hear what you have to say.
Well, what situation you want to talk about? Him wanting to lead the Texans or him about that sensitive subject?
Hey, take it easy. Look, let's just get into it. Him leaving the Texans, it is what it is. You can't, a quarterback, 42% of all quarterbacks that get drafted into a team don't even stick around to the team within the first year, let alone a couple of years in.
Yeah,
so it's bound he was going to go, I want to talk about, and I think everyone wants to hear about the touchy subject, if you catch my drift.
Well, first off, let's talk about that contract. Because what I can't stand about fans is he signed a contract. You MF and right, he signed a contract. If someone talk about they put a $150 million contract in my face, yeah, I'm gonna sign it. But here's the thing, though.
Too.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. It's like what you're going to do as far as me being your quarterback. What you're going to do after I sign that contract. Who are you going to bring in? They traded away his best receiver because his coach, his lame duck coach at the time,
that made global news. By the way, everybody was like, "Oh, goodness for Arizona because they got a good receiver."
Yeah.
That was crazy, man.
Yeah,
That was unnecessary.
Bill O'Brien, a.k.a. Mega Chin. Oh, my goodness. I mean, like, he wants to be... What's up with all these Bill Belichick guys that want to be like Bill Belichick, but they don't have the resume? So he sits up there. He does that. He trades away, and they would have had the number 3 pick this year, too, because they were that bad. But who do they have there right now replacing that number 3 pick? Laramie Tunsil. Now, yeah, you have a good left tackle, but now you don't have a quarterback to throw the ball. It's just a mess in Houston. I don't think they pick until the 3rd round this year, all because he was making terrible GM calls.
And I'm telling you, man, just being in Houston and hearing from what people would have to say, just the Texans team was in turmoil. There was so much inner fighting. There was so much, like, from the GM to the owner to the players to Deshaun Watson, always having a particular issue here or there. But they were good at keeping it a secret for a while up until he decided to want to leave. So once they started bidding Deshaun Watson out to who knows how many teams, I think it just recently hit the news. I haven't read how many teams they were shopping out to.
Well, none now.
But exactly, none now. But holy smokes, the turmoil was just out of control back in Houston. It was a mess. It was a mess, just like Houston is as a city.
I think what happens is that when you have non-football people and personnel running a football team, things are just gonna go haywire, and it's not gonna work.
Well, they bring in people who know business, and I think the fact that happens is, like you were talking about the contract. You put $100 million contract in front of someone, they're gonna sign it, and that's business 101.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is when players are pardon my language, when they're too stupid to understand what contract they're signing and then complain about it, that's on them. That's on them. If you don't have good representation or a good attorney, good lawyer to go over documentation or review your contract, and then you're going to complain and bitch and moan about it. Come on now, that's on you, baby. That's on you. And so many of these athletes are wanting to represent themselves and falling into that issue where they're like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not happy with my contract because my contract, they're taking advantage of me. You agreed to those terms and agreement. Once you go to school, get a good education. Oh, I'm sorry. When you go to school, they pay you to not even go to class. You don't learn anything. So you're a big buffoon when you go out into sports. So maybe there's a conspiracy theory there where, right out of college, you're not even being trained to be a business person like your degree says.
Well, the thing is that you're not, man, because first of all, they're gonna make you take classes that will keep you eligible on the field, and
Boom.
then you go, and then you're, especially with football players, they're on football 24/7, 365 while they're on the campus. So, I mean, like, me and you, if we're just regular college students, and then we have majoring in business, we have time to sit up there and do internships. We have time to sit up there and do shadows and things like that. These guys don't have time for that because why? They have to lift, they have to train, they have to diet right, and they have to practice. They have to do so many things to where they don't have time to really invest in that degree. And just to give you an example about having those guys, how they choose their own curriculums. I remember back in the day when college football was always coming on NBC every Saturday. Now you have the University of Miami, right? And they'll set up there, they'll introduce a player, and then they'll have his degree plan on what he's studying. Bruh, what brother from Liberty City, Miami?
Underwater basket weaving.
Bruh, what black man from Liberty City, Miami is going to set up there and study agriculture?
It is what it is, man.
None.
But that's another thing where the advice of bringing poor kids to really, show them, hey, I'll pay for your school. Just show up to this football game. Just show up to this basketball game. So but to be honest, I think we went on tangent with this stuff, but it just goes back down.
It
just goes back down to the contract negotiations. And when a player is unhappy with the contract, look, a person like me, I will F up your life to make money. And that's what the owners are going to do. I don't give a crap about any player. I don't give a crap about any personnel on the team. If you're not going to win me a Super Bowl, I want you out, or I want you somewhere else, or I want to make money off you in the trading process. So all this, people get a lot of emotion based on these players and stuff. But when it came to Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins, that was one of the things where the owner just said, hey, I can make more money off this guy because I'm not winning anything anyways. So.
Yeah. Well, with those two guys, like they were a great tandem. And the last time they made the playoffs was when they were teammates with each other. So like now look at what DeAndre Hopkins is doing in Arizona, making Kyler Murray's life.
Oh, come on.
A heck of a lot better.
I don't like the Arizona Cardinals at all. I haven't watched them since what's his name, when they won the Super Bowl.
They never won a Super Bowl.
They went to the Super Bowl. What's his name? Kurt Warner.
Yep.
Kurt Warner. There we go. I used
Grocery
to watch
Bag Man.
Grocery Bag Man, because his story was fantastic, man. I loved his story. So that's the last time
Surprisingly, it's not a Disney movie yet.
It should be. It should be, because that was fantastic. That was great. But since then, I watch him now. Kyler Murray, they say he's 5'10", man. That dude's like 5'6". I'll be honest with you. He looks like a little Smurf running around the field.
But he's stout.
I don't like him. I'm not a fan of his. I think he's waste of television. He's not going to last very long. He's not built to last. If, Cam Newton is already seeing the feels of getting hit so often, he's running way too much, and I don't think that guy's going to last at all. He's too small.
That's what happens when your game plan is just,
run it,
big man, run the ball, give us points. But now let's go ahead. Let's bring it back to the Deshaun Watson situation with the Houston Texans, which right now, he's not there. He may have to be there now because, with the situation that he's got going on, no team is really going to want to sit up there and touch that with a 10-foot pole. And really about the other situation, about the touchy situation, he is a terrible Instagrammer.
I don't know what you're talking about. Tell me, what are you talking about?
Well, how do you think he met up with all these massage therapists?
Is there messages still leaking now?
I don't know, but when you looking up all 30, 40 on Instagram, you're Deshaun Watson. Even though we're in the midst of the cooties pandemic, you can still go anywhere.
Oh, just send a post. I'll be in this town. Hit me up. You don't have to hit anybody else up.
Yeah.
You're a star quarterback for any NFL team. You're good to go, buddy.
You don't even have to be a star quarterback. All you have to be,
third round quarterback. You're good to go.
Yeah. Hey, in which that's a dream job to have because you're not getting hit. All you have to do is
taking a nap on the sideline half the time. Huh. I like when first quarterback goes down, second quarterback it gets pulled, and they go to the third.
They go to Willie Beeman,
and he's he was asleep. He was Instagramming, talking about he didn't even know where his shoulder pads were. That's hilarious, man. That's the best part when not that players getting injured is anything fun, but when they all get injured and the third string quarterback is left to come in and play, oh my goodness, his look on his face. He's as surprised as we are.
Yeah.
They might as well have just called us because that's the look we're gonna have. They say you're in the NFL now, so it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So.
But that's that whole thing about Deshaun Watson. That whole situation is that to me that hey, these are very, 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 very serious allegations. But I'm here, even though it's not a joke. I'm here for the jokes, and yes, he is a very, very, very bad Instagrammer. Just. You're like I said, you're Deshaun Watson. You don't have to sit up there and go that route. Especially, with now I'm gonna sound like I'm a broke piece of crap, but how much money he's making, he doesn't have to go to many different masseuses or anything like that. I'm pretty sure he has one chef. I'm pretty sure he has one personal trainer. So why the heck can you not have just one masseuse?
Yeah, a masseuse, but he was using masseuses as, something else. He wasn't just going to get a massage from the same person every single time. So the masseuse, already it looks suspicious because of exactly the point you pulled, is if you're just going to have one masseuse that's going to come and take care of you all the time, that makes more sense.
Yes.
Than going to different masseuses every so often. And then, that just means you're up to no good.
Yeah.
In my book.
And then how you're going about it.
Exactly, man.
You know what I'm saying? It looks suspicious. That's what I'm saying. He's a terrible Instagrammer. Now I hope he learns his lesson and that, things will get better for this brother because hey, he is a good brother and he is a great quarterback. To me, he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league that I've seen. I just don't go off of, he won this Super Bowl, he won that Super Bowl. That doesn't mean anything to me. What I'm looking at is I kind of look at it as if I was a defensive player. Now, if I see somebody that I say, hey, we're going to have a problem with him today.
Right.
And then you actually do have a problem with him that day. Oh, yeah, you're a great quarterback to me.
Yeah. Hey, fair enough, man. Fair enough. Look, I think this is going to be a secondary episode about Deshaun Watson and his drama because I promise you guys we're going to cover all the drama in this show. But let's get back to what we started the show with the Dallas
America's
Cowboys.
team.
America's team, guys. America's team. So, Dak Prescott, he's getting back up and going. They say his progress is actually up and beyond what they're expecting. And now we hear talks about Sean Lee. Now, Sean Lee, what do you know about Sean Lee? Because I hear he might be retiring. However, he wants to be a coach. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, Sean Lee has retired. I mean, but I saw him more in the trainer's room than I did on the field.
Now, you say he's been retired since like 3 seasons ago.
Walking glass is what I call him.
I mean, was he a good player? Stout, he's very educated. He knows exactly. When you watch him, the play he made makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
He's a very realistic player. Now he just doesn't stay healthy. So now we're hearing that he wants to just go ahead and, stop it, and he wants to be a coach. Kind of like Kellen Moore did, with the Cowboys. He was there for 20 years, didn't do anything, and then wanted to be a coach.
Yeah. Well, Kellen Moore had no choice but to be a coach because, as soon as Romo got hurt then Dak came in and then just took over, Kellen Moore was like, hey, Kellen Moore is basically like the new Jason Garrett because Jason Garrett was a backup quarterback back in the day.
That's Jerry Jones' MO. He wants to find, I think he has a lot of security in anybody who plays quarterback position. Troy Aikman, he got him a really cushy position. Tony Romo got him a really cushy position. Kellen Moore, he really finds his quarterbacks because he has a lot of white man faith in him.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like that.
Basically, it's like this: if you play for the Cowboys, you are going to get a job after your career is over with. Heck, you got Leon Lett even calling preseason games.
Come on, why wouldn't you want to play for the Cowboys? For me, even with zero talent, I'd be like, yes, I'm on the Cowboys. I can make a career after this.
even with Jason Witten, who is not a Hall of Famer to me, but we'll get into that as well. He was terrible at Monday Night Football, but they gave him that job. All why? Because he was a Dallas Cowboy.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Have you ever seen my hair? It grew back. Right now, what I see, he was trying to be Tony Romo. Tony Romo's fantastic, man. Tony Romo is
fantastic.
I never really liked Tony Romo. I know how much you liked him. I never really liked him. I just liked him because he threw the TO, and that was about it.
Well, Tony Romo's my favorite Dallas Cowboy quarterback.
Hey, shut your mouth in this show. I will censor you in a heartbeat. Never liked him.
Yeah,
something about him.
What's wrong with you?
He's unlikable, man. He's unlikable.
What's wrong with you?
He's unlikable, man.
Man.
Tony Romo sucks. How about that?
He first,
you good on the mic? I'll give you credit where credit's due. You're fantastic on the mic, but you suck.
Man, look at where he first started, man. When he first started, man, he had old Keyshawn Johnson, and God rest his soul, Terry Glenn.
Keyshawn, though. Keyshawn was not bad.
There was one year where Keyshawn Johnson only scored 1 touchdown.
Who was his quarterback?
What does it matter? But it was Brad Johnson, if you want to know.
Okay, fair enough. I blew out the mic. But anyways, Tony Romo's fantastic. I'll give him that on the mic. He's great, man. That's where he's supposed to be. I think he's better than Troy Aikman, to be honest with you. Troy Aikman's okay, but Tony Romo kills it on the mic. Now, Jason Witten. That was a shit show. Where is he now? He's Oakland? Is he still with Oakland?
He retired now.
He retired again? I lost track after he retired the 20th time.
Now I think he's a head coach somewhere in Dallas.
Head coach for a high school?
Yeah, but like I said, man, what does it take, man? All you got to do is be a Dallas Cowboy. Then all of a sudden, you become a head coach with no coaching experience.
I'm telling you right now, hey, good business move for Cowboys in general. That's why I'm a Cowboys fan, man.
It's the star on the helmet.
The star on the helmet is beautiful. Looks fantastic. The color scheme's great. And then if you play for them, you set for life, man. You set for life.
Look how terrible they were last year, and they still had all those primetime games. Now, here's the thing about that, how terrible they were last year, too. First off, they made the mistake by hiring Chris Farley as their head coach. I don't
know what happened there, man. Don't
even get me started on that. Because this
guy... He kind of guesses. It seemed, to me, you look him in the eye, he looks like a gerbil. When a gerbil's kind of dead behind the eyes, and he kind of just will guess what kind of food he has to eat today. He's just kind of guessing what play he should call. I don't know what's going on there.
Here's what makes me question McCarthy is that how in the heck can you only get 1 Super Bowl and you have one stint you have Brett Favre as your quarterback and then you have Aaron Rodgers and all you can do
we
is
talk about Aaron. Aaron's fantastic.
Aaron is fantastic.
Look, and here we go. Tony Romo was unlikable. I just never liked him. Aaron, to me, is unlikable. I love him. I love him, man. He's fantastic. He's great quarterbacks. As much as I hate the Green Bay Packers, sorry guys, I do. I dislike the Green Bay Packers quite a bit. I don't dislike Aaron Rodgers. He's a great quarterback.
He, once again, makes it hard to dislike him because he's that good. But anyway,
Exactly.
Back onto the Cowboys. I mean, like, they're putting up all these points on the board, but they have to because that defense is so terrible. Why?
What do you think happened there? What do you think happened with that defense?
Well, like I said, it was just wrong hires, man. I mean, like, you hire Mike Nolan, Mike Nolan was, as your DC, he was out of the league for 12 years, and even when he was in the league, he had the worst defenses. So, but also what I saw too, it was bad scheme, but also just want to. Those guys, those guys just didn't want to play.
Oh, fair enough.
They just didn't.
They would lose hope so quickly, it felt like. And I think we've been on those teams where they just kind of lose ability to want to do anything. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. I'll just quit. Why am I going to try and get hurt when nobody else is playing? And that's contagious, man.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand when one player gives up, another player sees that, 2 or 3 players all of a sudden. Then me as a player, I'm starting to look and be like, why do I want to get hurt if you guys aren't even playing full speed? I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
So it's just a mentality after that point.
But I think those guys were just out from jump because, I mean, like, before the season, like, really even got going, you got guys that were already complaining. But then that's another thing, too, is that Jerry never really brought in the guys that to fit that scheme. What Jerry does, Jerry's always looking for splash. He's always looking for prime time. He's always looking for the headline. So what does he do? He brings in
CeeDee Lamb. It's not bad. Not a bad pick.
I would have taken CeeDee Lamb too. That's just me. You know, you didn't really need him, but I mean, like, sometimes, I mean, like, when it comes down to it, you just got to take the best player available. And plus, I'll tell you this too, going back to CeeDee Lamb, as soon as he was drafted, Madden should have made his catch radius 100 because what I liked about it was the virtual draft, and then he's talking on one phone, and then his girlfriend grabs the bat phone, and I'll explain later what the bat phone is, and then he just grabs it like that. Man, his hands would have been 100 in Madden to me.
Yeah, and that was funny because that made TMZ, that made every news program. Hey, this particular they called him a quarterback, I think, a couple of times. This particular receiver quarterback, look at him. He took that phone. Back to you, Cynthia.
But it was
like, what?
Man, but it was funny because he did it without even looking. But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, because you have a dynamic offense, you really do. You have a dynamic offense, but the thing is just with the defense, they need to set up there. They need to get better. So that's why the hiring of Dan Quinn, it may help. I mean, like, Dan Quinn has a reputation because he was a DC of Seattle when they had the Legion of Boom. Right. Now, you don't have those caliber of players, but I mean, like, if you can set up there and scheme it up and just really have the guys buy into what you're selling,
right,
you'll be able to set up there and do some things. I mean, like, heck, because with the offense that the Cowboys have now, I mean, like, before Dak got hurt, they were averaging like 40 points a game.
That offense, dude, that offense for the Dallas Cowboys, if they're going to win anything, it's this offense now. They have a fantastic. I don't know who they've lost, to be honest with you, so far, but just their offense alone from last year, that's a premium offense.
Yeah. They were good. They were good. But the thing is that too, you know, most of the times they're what always upset me about the Cowboys last year, especially when Dak was healthy, was that they were always a second half offense. But why were they a second half offense? Yeah. Because their defense had already given up 35 points in the first half.
They had no choice.
So I mean, like, the opposing defense is like, okay, yeah, I'll let you beat me deep because I know my team is going to come right back around and score on you. So I mean, like, it's those offensive stats, they were really a lot of fluff. Now I know I'm kicking myself in the butt when I say that, but I mean, like, the Cowboys have the potential to be a great offense, which is why I think you do not trade up to get Kyle Pitts. To me, Kyle Pitts is like what if Megatron and Shannon Sharp had a baby. He is that good, but no, you stay there at 10 and you get either Patrick Surtain Jr. or J.C. Horn as your cornerback. Now, to me, I would much rather have...
I'll stop you right there real quick. So let's speed up a little bit. Let's get into draft talk because draft is going to be tonight. So what are you feeling the Cowboys? Let's just talk about the first round. We won't get any further into that. So
Because that's
what do
all
you
I'm going
say?
to watch.
That's all I'm going to watch. That's all anybody's going to watch. After that, guys, we're not going to air too much about it. We'll eventually give you a touchdown. But
I'm not that big of much of a draft dork. I'm sorry.
yeah, so if you're looking for us for draft talk, you're just going to get for the first round. So tell me what you're expecting the Cowboys to do first round.
I'm expecting the Cowboys to stay at 10 and either draft Patrick Surtain Jr., the cornerback out of Alabama, or they're going to draft J.C. Horn, the cornerback out of South Carolina. Now, the thing about those two is that both of those guys have NFL blood in them because Patrick Surtain Sr. was a good corner. And you remember who Joe Horn was. Joe Horn was
absolutely.
the wide receiver, with the cell phone. Yeah, so those two boys. But, to me personally, I would much rather have Patrick Surtain Jr. because he can play man, and he's going to shadow you. And plus, who he had to go up against at the University of Alabama, because especially coming from the SEC, you're already going to get the best talent, the most pro-ready talent in college football. But then just look who he had to go against at practice. He had to go against Henry Ruggs, had to go against Devontae Smith. Boom. He had to go against Jerry Jeudy, had to go against Jalen Waddle. He had to go against all these great receivers. So
you say he's okay?
Yes, I'm saying he's okay. I'm saying he's okay. But if you set up there, you bring in J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn is kind of like Trevon Diggs. Is that Trevon Diggs is nice. A good cornerback, but Trevon Diggs was set up there. He'll take a chance and he'll jump a route, and he might get beat. So I don't know if you want two cornerbacks that are really identical like that. So that's why I would much rather have Patrick Surtain Jr. But it all depends on where people get drafted to see who's going to fall.
So are you hearing, or do you know if the Cowboys want to move or pivot? Maybe drop down or jump up. What are you hearing they might want to be doing?
Well, all the talking heads are talking about that Jerry wants to trade up to the number 4 pick and take Kyle Pitts. Like I said, Kyle Pitts. The best to me, Kyle Pitts is the best player in the draft. But you already have a dynamic offense. Henry, how many balls are on the field? Let's see, carry the 2 and there's just 1. Okay, so you're already going to throw the ball to Amari Cooper. You're already going to throw the ball to Michael Gallup. You're already going to try to get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. And now you're going to set up there, still try to hand the ball off to Zeke. And then when Tony Pollard gets in there, and then now if you set up there, you move up move up in the draft just to try to draft Kyle Pitts. Come on now. Now you're being a little bit top heavy. And plus,
agreed.
And plus you don't have the offensive scheme like the Chiefs do to where they can have all those guys and make it work. So
gotcha.
That's my whole standpoint. And plus, your defense was so historically bad.
Oh, goodness gracious. Your offense was one of the best offenses I think I've seen in a long time with that.
For 4 weeks, and then until you got Andy Dalton in there.
I'll take and the Red Rocket. Let's go, baby.
I wanted to slap the heck out of anybody who said that Andy Dalton was going to be good. There's a reason why he's not in Cincinnati anymore.
He's a good backup. In case.
He's a good third string.
If Dak Prescott has to go get a CT scan real quick in the tent or something, or a concussion report in the tent, let him snap 3 or 4 snaps.
Okay,
I'm good with that. But the whole game? Come on.
All right, man.
We got problems.
Let me tell you something why I was so upset with them taking Andy Dalton. Picking up Andy Dalton in free agency. Okay, so Andy Dalton's last season in Cincinnati, there's a reason why they were the number 1 pick in the draft last year. And then he's not even there anymore. So that tells you everything you need to know about him.
Hey, enough said. Hey, we're running low on time. We're trying to keep these to 30-minute pops at a time. So kind of to break the veil and let you guys know what we're targeting. But real quick, you mentioned a player on the Dallas Cowboys that I'm starting to get very skeptical hippo eyes on. His name is Ezekiel Elliott. What do you think about him?
Man, Ezekiel's going to do good, man. I just think what it was, man, is just the consequences of COVID, man. So it affected people. It affected people.
He was playing with COVID or what?
No, he actually had it.
When?
Before the season, but still, man, it's just the effects of it, man. Okay. So that's what I think. That's just what it was. And plus, with them too, that offensive line just has to be healthy for things to go right. I still think he's going to be a transcendent back. I still haven't given up on him yet.
Okay.
But like I said, just give him a full season of off-season training. Clearly, I have a feeling they're going to work that. They're going to restructure his deal. So, take the money out of it, take a little bit of money out of his pocket. That may not weigh him down so much. So, he may be able to move a little better. And I think he's going to have a bounce-back season. You got a healthy Dak. You got a healthy wide receiving core. Hopefully your offensive line stays healthy if you get rid of James Conner, because that's the reason why. Can't think of his name right now. The left tackle. That's why he keeps getting hurt so much, because James Conner, he can't block a soul.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, let's get everyone back and let's see what happens.
Gotcha. Well, boom. Well, hey, guys, that's kind of the time we have to cover the Dallas Cowboys. There's more Dallas Cowboys to come 24/7 here, especially at this podcast that we're two Texas boys. So thanks for tuning in to this episode of Let the Games Begin with Preston Sapp and myself. Guys, if you listen on Apple iTunes or Spotify, please, please, please leave us 5 stars and leave us a little review. So go ahead and touch that little box and leave us a little review. Say you like it, you dislike it, what's your favorite team, what's your worst team. Just let us know something about you and reach out to us. We're going to leave an email in the description on the bottom of this podcast where you can just go ahead and send us an email for any questions, requests, anything you might like. You just let us know and we'll take care of it. So again, thank you so much, guys.
And tell a friend to tell a friend.